Hey guys, my name is Rohit Singh and I welcome you all to my channel Developer Geeks. Well, this is the playlist for C++ programming language. The previous video was on the topic of basics of C++ programming. We understood the architecture and the programming basics of C++. Well, this video is all about the control structure or the condition structure. We will see the object of this video would be to understand and to venture different kinds of if-else statements. We will see what is a switch case statement, and then we will practically understand how these controlling and the conditioning works. The first is to understand different types of if-else statement. In English, what is the actual meaning of if-else? If suppose if you do this homework, you will get this, else you won't. Right, so this is how the if else actually works. Basically, there are three types of if else statement. One is a simple if else, then comes an if else ladder, then the third one is a nested if. Now let's see practically how these all these types of if else works. Well guys, let's jump into the C++ compiler now. Now we will, before understanding if-else statements, we will understand how the true and false condition works. Right? Basically, if I take a boolean value and add it to a, so let's see what kind of value does this print. It's built successfully. Basically, boolean is a data type which can print either 0 or 1. You can see that it is printing 1. It means that a true is basically 1, right? And what if we print a false value? You can see it is printing 0, right? So basically we can conclude that false is 0, but guys, true is not 1. True can be defined as not 0. Yeah, you heard it right. Basically 0 means it is false, and if it's not 0, it can be -1, -2, 1, 2, 3 or any decimal value. So that is a true value. Before starting with the if-else condition, we have to understand how the conditions within that works. Now let's see some examples of if-else. This is basically the syntax. Inside of that bracket you will write condition. If the condition is true, the statement will print. If the condition is false, it will go in the else part and it will print the statement within the braces of that else statement. You can see that if the condition is true in the first, then it will print the statement, or else if the condition is false, it will print the statement of the else brace or the else bracket. Now let's see what it will print. If the value of a is true, it has to print the worked one, that is the statement within that bracket. If it's false, it will print not worked. Since the a is false, so it will go to the else part. It should, and you can see it is printing not worked. It's not going inside the if bracket, it is directly going and jumping into the else bracket. Basically, this is how an if-else works. Now let's try to do some experiments. Let's do a not a. What is a not a? Not a is nothing but true, right? Not false is true. So it should print the statement within the if condition, that is worked. So it is printing worked in the output. What if we print what if the condition is 0? Since 0 is nothing but false, right? So it will go to the else statement. If it's -283 or something, since it's not 0, so it should print the if condition. Yes, it's working, right? So guys, this are some of the conditions that we can put. One will be a true value, right? So we can write worked. Now let's say that 100 is less than 200. So what it should print now? Is 100 actually less than 200? Yes. If it is, then it should print worked, or you can say false. Yeah, and here let's say true. If we print, it should print false. Yes, it is printing, right? What if we change this greater? Let's see which is greater. Is 200 greater? True. Yes, it is greater. We can change the conditions according to it. So if the condition is true, it means it is not 0. If the condition is false, it means it is 0. Let's remove the comments. What if there is no else part and the if condition is false? So what does the compiler do? Guys, it is not a error. Basically it won't print anything, right? If it won't go in the if condition and it will not print anything. So this is not an error. This is a valid code. Now let's understand what is a if else ladder. If else ladder is basically like a steps. You have to walk ahead, you have to go up every step at a time. So basically if else means that you have some ladder or you have some series of conditions coming. If this condition is true, it will jump into, if it's true, it will print, it will go in the statement, else it will check another statement and it will keep on checking the preceding statement until and unless the condition is satisfied. Now let's create a variable a and take the input, and let's check if the value of a is 7. If it is, it will print it's 7, and we'll copy that and we will keep on adding this. Let's say it's 9. Let's say it's, I will change to 19 or 29 or 39. Yeah. Now let's try to run it. It has built successfully, it's not an error. Let's print 8. So you can see it's 8. That means the second statement is working. Now let's see some more examples. Now let's understand. I hope you have a little gist about how a if else ladder works. Now let's understand what is a nested if else. Nested in English basically means that one which is within another, right? So basically if a condition is within another, then that is a nested if else. If you have a condition within another condition, that is that type of paradigm is called as a nested if else. Let's take a variable a, and if it is equal to 7, it will check that a percentage 2 is equal to 0 or not. If it's 0, it will print even, else it has to print odd, right? ODD. Now let's check if it's working or not. Okay, I have forgotten to write a semicolon. Now let's see. If I print 7, yes, yeah, you can see this statement. The second if else statement is printing. First the outer if statement is working, then the inside if statement. Now let's add another if within that if. We will change the condition. If a percentage 2 is not equal to 0, it means it is an odd number, right? If a plus 1 is equal to 8, then it should print maybe 8, right? Yeah, let's print the C out to 8. So you can see there are 3 if nested if, right? Now let's see what the value should be printed. I have forgotten one insertion. Yeah, if I write 7, you can see it's printing odd as well as 8. First it is going to line 14 and then it's jumping to line 16. Well guys, I hope you have understand how a if else works. Now let's see what is a switch case statement. Basically this is the flow chart of a switch case statement. If you can see in the top of the flow chart, there is something called as an expression. Basically the expression is nothing but what kind of value you are passing. If and that expression in a switch case, there are multiple cases of different values. If that particular expression matches with that particular value, then it will perform some particular code of block. If you see this, in the top, the expression, if that matches to that constant, if it will go yes to the first block, if not, it will go to the no one. It will check again. If that matches, then it goes to the second block. So it keeps on matching every cases of the particular switch case. Now let's understand how the switch case works, and let's see how the syntax works basically. Now let's delete this if else statement and let's work on the switch case statements, guys. Basically, switch case statement is like a key and lock statement. There are multiple keys, there are multiple locks, but there is only one key. And switch case statement, if you want to predict, you can say that it is nothing but like a, like a if else ladder, right? You have multiple different conditions, and within which only one condition will work. Similarly, in switch case statement also works like that. Now let's take a variable a and take the input from the user. We will write a cout statement and a scene statement. But the syntax of switch case is nothing but you have to write switch, and within that you have to write a variable. Basically the variable, you know what, let's create a menu, right? A menu for a hotel room, right? I mean for a restaurant. Now let's change the variable to choice, and we will change the variable from a to choice, right? Now let's create a menu. Now we will write foods, food type 1, maybe a South Indian food, and then we will copy this and keep on adding. Second, maybe a North Indian food. So let's keep on adding. I think we are done with our menu now. Now let's try to fetch every cases for it. The case, maybe the case for the first one would be, we will write in the case 1, case is a keyword and switch is also a keyword. We will write a cout statement that thank you for choosing South Indian. Yeah. And then after, one of the important thing in a switch case statement is we call it as a break statement. Break statement basically means to divide different switch cases. We will understand in the later section how and what is the importance of break statement is. We can add North Indian. Then case 3, we will add Punjabi thali, maybe Punjabi thali. So these are basically some Indian cuisines. Now we can add another case for fourth one, that is the Chinese food. So I think it's enough for understanding, so we can delete. Yeah. Now this is the important thing, that is the default statement. What if the choice made by the user is not from the option, right? So we will write chosen a wrong selection, or maybe we will write somewhat like a menu thing. We will write out of order, or out of menu, yeah. And then we will write a break statement. Yeah, super. Now let's try to run this code and let's understand how does it works. Yeah, this is the menu. You can see 1 2 3 4. If I write 1 or 3, so you can see it's printing thanks for choosing Punjabi thali. Yeah, it's working fine. Let's run it again and let's choose 1. You can see it's printing South Indian thali now. And what if we add 2? It's printing North Indian thali. So basically the structure is that what if you remove the break statement now, and if we choose 1, you can see since there is no break statement, it is printing both first statement as well as the case of the second statement. So that is the reason break is important. What if we remove the break of every cases, and if we print for the first one, so you can see it will print itself as well as all the statements beneath it. What if we write fifth, so it is nothing but the default statement which is out of the scope. Then what if we write the fourth one, so it should print fourth as well as for the last one. You can see it is because there is no break statement in the fourth case. So you guys, you can understand why the cases are important. Now let's change the integer data type to a character data type and change the cases to from integer to a character like A, B, C, D, and let's try to run, and we will add break statements again to understand how the cases or the switch case works in a character. Okay, yeah, actually I've given one single quote, I have not quoted it in the both the side. Yeah, let's try to run now. You guys can see the menu bar. If I write H, you can see it is out of the menu because it is out of the options. It will go to the default. Now let's print A. You can see it's printing South Indian food. That is the first case. If we print C, you can see it's printing Punjabi thali, which is the third case statement, since it's a character. Now let's try for a float value. If we write around 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, now you can see the error is floating that it is a float value. So it means actually the switch case only works for integer as well as character. It does not work for any other data type except integer and character. Not even float, not even a string, nothing. Well, that's it from my side, guys. I hope you find this video informative. If you do like, don't forget to share, subscribe, and to comment down in the comment section. Well, the next video will be on the topic of looping statements. Basically, what if I ask you to print a number from 1 to 1000? I know it's impossible to write C out and keep on adding 1 plus 1 plus 1. Yes, it is difficult. Now there is something called as looping statement. You can make a particular statement in loops. You can add many loops and you can run any statement any number of times. So this is what a looping statement means. We will see briefly about looping statement in the next video. Stay tuned.